All right. Yeah, there we are. I think we're good to get started. Hello, welcome to our daily Bible reading. As always, I'm Khalil, and today we're going to be continuing our reading of Numbers. We'll be starting today with number 6. So far, we've read in Numbers, we saw how the camp was divided. So we saw the Lord command Moses to number the children of Israel according to their armies, 20 years old and upward, to see who could go to fight against the Canaanites, because eventually they're being taken through this wilderness for the purpose that they will be taken to the land of Canaan, where they will fight the people of the land, the Canaanites, and take that land as their own. The promised land, what later becomes the land of Israel, like the kingdom nation of Israel. So the Lord had Moses number the children of Israel for their armies. We see how they were divided in the camp, how they would have 2 sets of people go before the Levites, which were carrying the tabernacle, as well as they had 2 camps behind them. We saw specifically what Levites carried what and divisions of the family. So there were the Kohathites, the Gershonites, and the Merarites, just 3 divisions of the tribe of Levi, the Levites, and each one of them had each one of the families had a certain part of the tabernacle they were responsible for carrying. Because remember, the tabernacle is just essentially a large tent, and as they're moving throughout the wilderness, we have to pick it up and pick up the items of it and move it. But not everyone could do it, so it's specifically meant for certain members of the children of Levi to do it. And that's just about where we had ended it last time, so we'll be picking up right about there with number 6 today. But before we do that, since today is the 24th, we'll be starting our reading today with Proverbs 24. Today we will be reading Proverbs 24 and 25 because February only has 28 days in a month. So in order to read all the Proverbs from here on until February ends, we're going to be reading like 2 Proverbs every day. So today we will be reading Proverbs 24 and 25. Without further ado, go ahead and begin with Proverbs 24. Verse 1. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their hearts study of destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Their wisdom is in house building, and by understanding is established. And by knowledge of the chamber be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, and a man of knowledge increaseth strength. So don't go into the way of wicked men, of wickedness, because ultimately their end is destruction. For their hearts study destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Ultimately, their end is just but one. It is destruction. It's never going to end well. But life and riches belong to, as like 5 says, a wise man is strong. A man of knowledge increases strength. And for like pleasant riches, right, belong to those with knowledge. Yeah, by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. We're just all to the point again. This knowledge, this word of God, is what truly gives us riches, while wickedness ultimately only leads to our destruction. Verse 6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool, he openeth not his mouth in the gate. He that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and a scorner is an abomination to men. This is, verse 9 even reciprocates something that Jesus talks about in the New Testament, where if a man even looks upon a maid with lust in his heart, it is adultery. Where we shouldn't be doing the physical act. We shouldn't physically be lying, right? Those words shouldn't be coming out of our mouth. We shouldn't physically be killing anyone or committing adultery. But even the lust being within our mind or the desire in our heart, like, oh, I really want to say yada, yada, yada. I really want to do yada, yada, yada. Even that shouldn't be there. And we all should be working to even get rid of the mental component of that sin. Because sin comes from lust. As James talks about, every man sins when he's drawn away by his own lust. So we even should be working to get that out of our mind, to where we don't lust to do evil things anymore. 10. If thou feign the day of adversity, thy strength is small. What did verse 5 just say? A wise man is strong, a man of knowledge will give the strength. Because this word of God is your strength. So if we are able to stand the test of our lusts or trials or temptations when we find ourselves in them, whatever we are tempted with, whatever our lusts are, if we are unable to handle it, it's because we don't have enough strength inside this word of God. That's what it's saying there. If thou feign the day of adversity, thy strength is small. So when you're being come up against, whether it's just out of your own lust or someone's coming up against you because you serve God, because you serve the Lord, and you faint, you're unable to withstand the trials because your strength is small. Which understandably is going to happen, but you have to work past that. You can't be weak forever. You have to gain strength in order to stand the trials. Verse 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not he that ponder the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth he not know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? Like, even there, God knows our hearts. So the thing is, the Lord knows we know what the right way to walk is. He knows that. So whenever we're in judgment, we're not going to be able to say, well, like, Lord, it was this, and I didn't really understand, or it was difficult. Like, the Lord knows. He knows your heart, but he knows you're capable of doing it. Like the book says, is the Lord will not put more on us than we're able to bear. And even Christ walked this earth the same way we are, right? And he committed no sin. And that's why he's our advocate with the Father. Because he knows just how hard it is, but at the same time, he didn't commit any sin. So we should at least be able to attempt to stop doing the sins that we are doing now. Or going after those lusts, or having those lusts in our heart. 13. My son, eat thou honey because it is good, and honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge and wisdom be unto thy soul. When thou hast found it, then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. But the wicked shall fall into mischief. It's the same thing. Where a just man can fall 7 times, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So we, as the just or as the righteous or servants of God, however you want to put it, we can make mistakes. But what's supposed to separate us from the wicked is that we don't just give in and just go into our wickedness and our iniquity. You can make a mistake, but willfully choosing to just not obey God and do whatever you want to do, whether it's contrary to his law and commandment or not, that's not being just. That's not falling 7 times. You have fallen into mischief because you haven't made a mistake, you've made a choice. 17. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth, lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. It's like even says in Romans, don't be weary in well-doing. My son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse. Nation shall abhor him, but to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them. So we can't divert judgment. We can't say to the wicked, hey, what you're doing is righteous, and to the righteous, hey, what you're doing is wicked. Right? And even to the wicked, our job as people who understand the law of the Lord, have seen it, and who know it, we should be correcting ourselves as well as correcting others. Because really, we don't want, the same way Christ doesn't want any to perish, we shouldn't want any to perish. And rebuking someone, showing them the right way to walk, is saving them. Is saving their life. It even goes back into Matthew, the parable of the lost sheep, or parable of the talents, where the Lord will leave the 99 to go to the one lost. Right? Where we all should be working in this gospel to bring all people to the knowledge of the truth, to bring them to God, to bring them to his law and his commandments. Alright, so that's the right thing that we should be doing, even like 25. 26. Every man shall kiss his lips that giveth a right answer. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips. So don't bear false witness. Say not, I will do so to him as he had done to me. I'll render to the man according to his works. At the end of the day, the Lord is the one who gets vengeance, right? As the Lord says, vengeance is mine. 30. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof. And the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a low sleep, a low slumber, a low folding of the hands asleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. Yeah. And even 30 through 34, just talking about like almost a parable of sorts about slothful man in his vineyard, where the Lord is coming, right? The Lord is coming. We don't know the exact date when he's coming. We know every day we live, it approaches further. But even before the day of the Lord's return, the day that we die, none of us know our end. The day when we will die, the day we just won't wake up, or we die in a more, I guess, horrific way. We don't know the end of our life. And we're judged for either however long we lived, or when the Lord returns, whichever really comes first. So the thing is, 33 and 34, yet a low sleep, a low slumber, a low folding of the hands sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. We can't be slothful in doing the Lord's work and obeying the Lord, thinking, oh, well, I have time. Well, I don't need to do this today, or I don't need to really try to change and become this, put on the mind of Christ, or whatever have you. Oh, I don't really need to do this now. I can hold off on it. Because we always tend to act as though we have a lot of time. When in reality, we don't. Like it says, yeah, a little sleep, a little slumber. We don't know when our time is. What may just feel like it's a little bit of slumber, a little bit of sleep to where we aren't dedicating our time to the Lord, that could just be the rest of our life, just right there. And then bam, God is not judging you on what you were saying I was going to do eventually. He's going to judge you on what you did. Every man according to his doings. And then he's going to look at that and be like, well, you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything I said. So that's even a reminder for us that to not be slothful in the Lord's business. We have but a limited time here, and we don't know when that time ends. So every day we should be working to be better servants of God, to be better people. Yeah. Well, with that being said, that's chapter 24. Yeah. I don't have much else to say besides this chapter. Besides that, this chapter. So we can go ahead and go to Proverbs 25. Proverbs 25 and verse 1. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. The heavens for height and the earth for depth, and the hearts of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finder. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. So here he's saying, this is Solomon speaking, right? But again, 2 Timothy 3:16, all scripture is given by inspiration of God. So this is still, he's speaking what the Lord is put in him to speak, right? So it's still the Lord's word, right? But to the point. So he's saying it's the glory of God to hide the thing. Because all these things, the heaven for height, the earth for depth, and the hearts of the kings is unsearchable, where these things and many more things, you could just read the book of Job, the latter half, chapters 32 down, and it's just the Lord speaking, in that the Lord has created this whole world. He knows everything, right? And there are some things, Deuteronomy 29 and 29, even talks about for a quote. is not everything is given to man to know at all times, right? So he's saying it's a glory for the Lord to conceal a thing because he knows everything, but he conceals certain things from us, right? But it's an honor for a king to search it out, right? And then 4 and 5, take away the dross from the silver, and there shall be forth a vessel for the finer. Dross is like you can think of it like the gross bits on top of like the silver. Whenever they were like making or like melting down silver and making like vessels or jewelry, wherever they're making from, there would be like the dross left on top or left over, which is like the bad bits. So he's saying you purge out the bad bits, you purge out the dross, you have a better vessel. The same way, if you get wickedness away of get wickedness or wicked men from the king, his throne shall be established in righteousness. And it should be the same with us, where we shouldn't have wickedness within us, and we should in the same way with the dross. And even this example or parable here with the king, we should be purging that wickedness or dross here, even in Paul's writing, sometimes called leaven, in 1 Corinthians. That leaven, that dross away from us, just being wickedness, to be a better vessel. Verse 6, put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For it is better that it be said unto thee, come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen. So just don't exalt yourself, abase yourself. Don't put yourself in a high seat, otherwise someone's going to tell you to bring yourself down a bit. Like, hey, you shouldn't be sitting this high up, sit down low over here. But if you sit down low, someone will say, verse 7, come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince from thine eyes have seen. So just, but see you're put lower, like, hey, no, you're sitting too low, come up here. Right? So just don't exalt yourself, abase yourself, and the Lord will exalt you in due time. That's Matthew. 8, go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. So don't, even like in an argument, don't engage with an argument or try to find a point immediately. List, even like it said at the beginning, search out a matter. You take your time. Don't just hop into an argument or hop into a side of a matter that you don't know. Use discretion, use wisdom, and wait. Listen, like he says, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Because it's because you picked a bad side or you said some dumb stuff because you didn't really take the time or the discretion to think about what you're doing. 9. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and discover not a secret to another. So again, don't backbite is what I'm really saying. 10. Lest he that heareth it put thee to shame, and thy infamy turn not away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold and pictures of silver. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. So it's a good thing when someone reproves someone. Not only when they reprove someone, like a wise reproof, so like the reproof, which means correction, right? The correction that they're giving someone is good. So not only it's good when someone's correcting someone in the right way, but it's even better when the person, like he says, upon an obedient ear. So it's even better when the person hears it. So he's saying it's a good thing, because that's really how all things should work, right? When someone gives you a correction, that is obviously good to hear. You should be receiving of that and not be in our pride going, oh, well, that's nothing, right? 13. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters. Whoso boasteth himself of a false gift is like clouds, and wind without rain. By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, that his soft tongue breaketh the bone. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and the sword, and the sharp arrow. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth, and a foot out of joint. As he that taketh away a garment in cold weather, and has vinegar upon niter, so is he that singeth songs to an heavy heart. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. So those who have done evil to you, you shouldn't treat them, even to the point before, the Lord, vengeance is the Lord's, right? But Not even just that you shouldn't do evil unto them. You should treat them kindly, right? If thy enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. If you be thirsty, give him water to drink. Because, for thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord reward thee. So the Lord's is going to give unto you because you've acted in love, even when someone's treated you with hate, right? Because that's what all of us should do. And that's what even Christ did when he was here on the earth. People treated him with hate, and he died for the entire world, right? Those who hated him included. Right? So we should behave in the same way. And even you're heaping coals of fire on their heads, because if you're doing nothing but treating them with love and they treat you with hate, God's going to look at that and be like, wow, you really crazy. Because, I mean, if two people treat each other with hate, it was like, well, that's just how, then you're both wrong. But if someone's treating you with love and you're treating them with hate, then you're just crazy wrong. So you're heaping coals of fire on their head. And even if they don't hate you anymore, and they treat you, and then they start treating you with love, then you've brought your enemy to be your friend, and that's a good thing. So treating someone who's treated you poorly with love only really ends in a good way. Either you've reconciled, or you'll be getting the benefit from that, and just really they'll be digging themselves a bigger hole. 23. The north wind drives away rain, so that an angry countenance a backbiting tongue. It's better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman and in a wide house. As cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man falling down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain in the corrupt spring. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search their own glory is not glory. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So yeah, even that 28. Like, we need to, have temperance, which means to have self-control, right? He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that's broken down without walls. It is weak, as we've seen from the last chapter, right? This wisdom, this word of God, this Bible is our strength, right? And this Spirit of God, which we get through the word, is our strength. And if we don't have that within us, protecting us, we are like a city with a broken down wall that's broken down without walls, where it is destroyed. Just move whichever way. Influence, as he talks about ruling it, having no rule of your own spirit, lacking of temperament or temperance, having no self-control. So that is even something that we have to be in control within ourselves. And that's why it's so important that we make the Word of God, make the wisdom of God, this Bible, our strength. Because that's what it'll give you. It'll give you that temperance and that self-control. That's also why it's important to be diligent. But yeah, with that, I think that's enough out of Proverbs. Yeah, Proverbs 24 and 25. So now we can pick it up at Numbers 8. I say Numbers 8, I'm at number 6. Alright. So, number 6 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes, or dry. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine, from the kernels even to the husk. So here, we've already talked about vows a little bit before, where if you make a vow unto the Lord, you have to keep it. So now we're talking specifically about something called the Nazarite vow. If you're familiar with Samson, he's in the book of Judges, which we'll get to eventually. He's one of the judges of Israel. He is an example of someone in the Bible who took the Nazarite vow. So the Nazarite vow was specifically something that people did to consecrate themselves to the Lord, essentially. And then these are just so far the requirements of what was part of the Nazarite vow specifically. So you couldn't drink like alcohol. That's what wine is, strong drink. You drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, nor eat moist grapes or dried. So you can't eat or drink of these things. All days of his separation shall eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head. Which again, if you remember Samson, people during the time they had Nazarite vow, they did not, they wouldn't cut their hair at all. They would just let it grow. There no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled in which he separated himself unto the Lord. So Nazarite vow could have been for a certain amount of time. Samson he just always, essentially from his birth, was separated to be a Nazarite and kept the Nazarite vow. But even, you could do, the Nazarite vow for a time. You do a Nazarite vow for, 30 days or 60 days or so on and so forth, right? So, you would have to, obviously keep all these things as long as you've made this pact to, do this vow, right? 6. All the days that he separated himself unto the Lord, he shall come at no dead body, right? So, even as we talked about how touching a dead body defiles you, right? Makes you unclean. So they couldn't do that either. He shall not make himself unclean for his father or his mother or for his brother or his sister when they die, because the consecration of God is upon his head. This is what the vow is all really about. So he couldn't make himself unclean by going into any of these people that died, his father, mother, so on and so forth. And we even saw before, this even rings true for, if you remember the high priest as well, but he couldn't do the same thing because he always had to be consecrated, right? Remember, so this was for a vow, but the high priest always had to do this. 8. All the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Lord. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he hath defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it. So, when being cleansed from being unclean by reason of dead body. So he's saying that, for whatever reason, something happens where a guy dies next to him, and now he's unclean by reason of dead body. When he's gone through the time of cleansing, so, for someone who was touched a dead body, or, unclean by reason of dead body, they would go through this cleansing period of 7 days, and then they would wash on the 8th day. But on the 7th day now, he would have to shave his head, because his vow, not by his own, in this example here, by his own volition, right? But it was broken. So now he has to shave his head on the 7th day of his cleansing from being unclean. Then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it. Verse 10. And on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest, to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and make an atonement for him, for that he sinned by the dead, and shall hallow his head that same day. Because, he accidentally, granted, like you said in this example, accidentally, but still to the point, he still broke the law. He still broke his vow to the Lord, which, your word is your bond, essentially, right? Where you broke your word. Verse 12. And he shall consecrate unto the Lord the days of his separation, and shall bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering. For the days that were before shall be lost, because his separation was defiled. So now, basically, it's almost as though, it started over. Because he got interrupted, he got interrupted before while he was in the midst of doing the allotted time he made the vow for. Right, so now, it's basically, you have to do, a redo. Because the Lord's still expecting you to keep your promise, right? But the days that were before shall be lost, because the separation was defiled. And this is the law of the Nazarite when the days of the separation are fulfilled. So now it's saying, okay, that's what happens if it gets interrupted somehow. But now, if they actually fulfill the allotted time, this is what you should do. He shall be brought into the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. He shall offer his offering unto the Lord, 1 he lamb of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering, 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and 1 ram without blemish for peace offerings. And a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread anointed with oil, and their meat offering and their drink offerings. And the priest shall bring them before the Lord. He shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. And he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord. With a basket of unleavened bread, the priest shall offer also his meat offering and his drink offering. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of the head of his separation, and put it in the fire, which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering. So he gave these peace offerings, shaved his head, and tossed the fire into like the altar, like the fire of the sacrifices. 19. And the priest shall take the sodden shoulder of the ram, and 1 unleavened cake out of the basket, and 1 unleavened wafer. And they shall put them upon the hands of the Nazarite after the hair of his separation is shaven. And the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. This is holy for the priest, with a waved breast and heaved shoulder. And after that, the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazarite who is vowed, and of his offering unto the Lord for his separation. Beside that his hand shall get, according to the vow which he vowed. So he must do after the law of his separation. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Alright? And that's the Nazarite vow. Like I said, like sort of at the beginning, it was a way for them to consecrate themselves unto the Lord. And as we'll read and see more, that's what a lot of vows were. Or just sort of like a give and take with the Lord at times as well. Where like the Lord, if you will do this thing for me, then I will give you this, or I will do this. Good examples being Hannah in 1 Samuel, beginning of 1 Samuel, literally chapters 1 and 2. And then also Jephthah in the book of Judges. I want to say chapters 16, 17, I may be wrong, but it's in the book of Judges, where he himself made a vow, Lord, you deliver me in this battle, I will give you, I'll sacrifice the first thing that I see coming home. I'll end it with that, but to the point that this is a vow to the Lord, the Nazarite vow, but all the vows, any vow, which is even why, in the New Testament, they'll say, just let your yea be your yea and your nay be nay. And they even say here in the Old Testament too. But because the Lord takes your word very seriously. He isn't joking when he says, judge based upon every idle word, right? Upon every idle word will I judge. He's not being dramatic when he says that. He means it, right? So, here, where, hey, you couldn't break the vow, and if you did, even so by accident, you had to give a trespass offering because you had sinned, as he even points at verse 11, for that he sinned by the dead. Because you sinned because you said you wouldn't do this and you did it. Even by accident, you did. And that's really how all this law works, which is why it was so important for Christ to come and die. Because whether you did the sin accidentally or on purpose, you're still covered in sin. It's still sin, right? But point being is that the Lord still held you to that, whether you broke it on accident. And even after the fact, here we see that the Lord still expected you to make even on your vow. Because that's how serious the Lord takes our word. And to make a vow, it's not I vow unto the Lord so-and-so and so-and-so. Just say, I will do this if you will do this. There is no formal language you have to do to make it official or any of that. You say, this is what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do. And that's why, even the New Testament says, well, that's why we don't, but essentially, I can't remember the exact wording, but we don't give the affirmative. That we say, hey, if the Lord be willing, then we'll do this and or that, is what the New Testament says. Because, and that's why even sometimes you hear me say, and you'll other people say, Lord willing, or hopefully, or if possible. Because you're leaving yourself that room where, I'm not saying I'll do this thing, I'll try to. If I'm able to do it, if it's able to happen, then it will happen. right? And that's how we should all really be speaking, because the Lord takes our words very seriously. And this is just an example of which. And when we get further into Judges and Samuel, we'll see like how those vows work out, right? Where you really do have to keep them, and then what happens if you don't keep them? Because ultimately, it's the same thing as we've seen with pretty much all the other commandments when they are broken: death, right? But yeah. But now we can go ahead and move on to number 7. Number 7 and verse 1. And it came to pass on the day that Moses had fully set up the tabernacle, and had anointed it, and sanctified it, and all the instruments thereof, both the altar and all the vessels thereof, and had anointed them and sanctified them, that the princes of Israel, heads of the house of their fathers, who were the princes of the tribes, and were over them that were numbered, offered. And they brought their offering before the Lord, 6 covered wagons, and 12 oxen, a wagon for 2 of the princes, and for each one an ox. And they brought them before the tabernacle. So now, like, the tabernacle, all the things about it have been anointed, set up. So, like, tabernacle was, like, fully clear and ready to be used for, like, all this work, right? 4. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take it of them, that they may be to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and thou shalt give them unto the Levites, to every man according to his service. So now they're giving all these carts to the sons of Levi, the Levites. Because remember, it's their job to take the things of the tabernacle, the pillars, the cloths, the Ark of the Covenant, the vessels, so on and so forth, and move them whenever the children of Israel are like going somewhere else than where they currently were located. So now they've been given carts to make that whole thing obviously a lot easier. Yeah. Verse 6. And Moses took the wagons and the oxen and gave them unto the Levites, 2 wagons and 4 oxen he gave them to the sons of Gershon, according to their service. 4 wagons and 8 oxen he gave them to the sons of Merari, according to their service, under the hand of Ithamar the son of Aaron the priest. And unto the sons of Kohath he gave none, because the service of the sanctuary belonging unto them was that they should bear upon their shoulders. Remember, the sons of Kohath, they had the things that were like the most holy. So they had like the Ark of the Covenant, like the table that had like the showbread, or like the bowl, all the like the vessels, so on and so forth. And you even remember, Aaron and his sons, the priests, had to go in and cover and wrap all these things up in cloths before even the sons of Kohath could come in and like grab them, because they couldn't just grab them or look upon them directly. Otherwise, the sons of Kohath would die. Right? So even there, these things, point being, were just very special they were holding. So they couldn't just put them on the cart like everything else. No, they had to hold it was made that they would hold them on their shoulders. If you remember, I talked about yesterday, how they did literally was they would get the items, very brief, they would get the items, put in the cloth, get the cloth, get like they'll say like a pole or a stick, and they'll put it like this, and then the sons of Kohath hold it like that, and that's how they transported goods. They couldn't like plop it down and leave it on the cart. They had to hold it and like carry it over their shoulders, because these were the most holy things of the Lord. You couldn't just shove it in the cart. You had to carry it. 10. And the princes offered for dedicating of the altar in the day that it was anointed. Even the princes offered their offering before the altar. And the Lord said to Moses, They shall offer their offering, each prince on his day, for the dedicating of the altar. And he that offered his offering the first day was Nahshon, the son of Amminadab, of the tribe of Judah. And his offering was 1 silver charger, the weight thereof was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them were full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 spoon of 10 shekels of gold, full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. And for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Nahshon, the son of Amminadab. On the second day, Nethaneel, the son of Zuar, prince of Issachar, did offer. He offered for his offering 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 spoon of gold of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Nethanel the son of Zuar. On the 3rd day, Eliab the son of Helon, prince of the children of Zebulun, did offer. His offering was 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. And for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Eliab the son of Helon. On the 4th day, Elizur the son of Shedeur, prince of the children of Reuben, did offer. His offering was 1 silver charger of the weight of 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense, 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Elizur the son of Shedeur. On the 5th day, Shelumiel the son of Zurishaddai, prince of the children of Simeon, did offer. His offering was 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. And for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Shelumiel the son of Zurishaddai. On the 6th day, Elisaph the son of Deuel, prince of the children of Gad, offered. His offering was 1 silver charger of the weight of 130 shekels, a silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Elisaph the son of Deuel. On the 7th day, Elishama the son of Ammihud, prince of the children of Ephraim, offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Elishama the son of Ammihud. On the 8th day offered Gamaliel the son of Pedazur, prince of the children of Manasseh. His offering was 1 silver charger of the weight of 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. On the 9th day, Abidan the son of Gideoni, prince of the children of Benjamin, offered. His offering was 1 silver charger. The weight thereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. For a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Abidan, son of Gideoni. On the 10th day, Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai, prince of the children of Dan, offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. But for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai. On the 11th day, Pagiel, the son of Okran, the prince of the children of Asher, offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen. 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Pagiel the son of Okron. On the 12th day, Ahira the son of Enan, prince of the children of Naphtali, offered. His offering was 1 silver charger, the weight whereof was 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering. 1 golden spoon of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bullock, 1 ram, 1 lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and for a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Ahira the son of Enan. This was the dedication of the altar, and the day when it was anointed. By the princes of Israel, 12 chargers of silver, 12 silver bowls, 12 spoons of gold. Each charger of silver weighing 130 shekels, each bowl 70. All the silver vessels weighed 2,400 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary. The golden spoons were 12, full of incense, weighing 10 shekels apiece, after the shekel of the sanctuary. All the gold of the spoons was 120 shekels. And all the oxen for the burnt offerings were 12 bullocks, the rams 12, the lambs of the first year 12, with their meat offering, and the kids of the goats for sin offering 12. And all the oxen for the sacrifice of the peace offerings were 24 bullocks, the rams 60, and the he-goat 60, the lambs of the first year 60. This was the dedication of the altar. After that, it was anointed. So here we have the 12 princes, which remember, we have the 12 princes of the children of Israel coming and, we have the 12 princes from the children of Israel coming and each giving their sacrifice, or giving their offering. There you go. Offering for the dedication of the altar. And even again, remember, of like the 12 princes, there only were the 11 tribes here. Because remember, Joseph was split off into 2 half-tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, which we see like in 54 as well as, 48. That's where they were. Yeah. But, these 12 princes, which remember, were the rulers, essentially, each tribe of the house of Israel. For the tribe, brought each their offering, all brought like the same thing, in order to, dedicate the altar of the Lord for the tabernacle. Because remember, this opened it up with like this is right when the tabernacle has been consecrated and sanctified by the Lord. So they're getting ready to essentially like open it up for business, right? 89. And when Moses was gone into the tabernacle of the congregation to speak with them, then he heard the voice of one speaking unto him from off the mercy seat that was upon the ark of the testimony, from between the 2 cherubims, and he spake unto him. So now, we're going into 8 now, but here the Lord is speaking to Moses from the mercy seat that was on the Ark of the Covenant, which is also called the Ark of the Testimony. Yeah, that's chapter 7. Just they're dedicating the altar. And we'll see what the Lord has to say as we move on to Numbers 8. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, and say unto him, When thou lighest the lamps, the 7 lamps shall give light over against the candlestick. And Aaron did so, and he lighted the lamps thereof over against the candlestick, as the Lord commanded Moses. And this work of the candlestick was of beaten gold, unto the shaft thereof, unto the flowers thereof was beaten work. According unto the pattern which the Lord had showed Moses, so he made the candlestick. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and cleanse them. Thus shalt thou do unto them to cleanse them. Sprinkle water purifying upon them, and let them shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes, and so make themselves clean. So again, the Levites have a special job. So the Lord's saying, hey, I need you to cleanse these guys for me. This is how they did it. 8. Then let them take a young bullock with his meat offering, even fine flour mingled with oil. And another young bullock shalt thou take for a sin offering. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt gather the whole assembly of the children of Israel together. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the Lord. And the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites. And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord for an offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of the Lord. And the Levites shall lay their hands upon the heads of the bullocks, and thou shalt offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering unto the Lord, to make an atonement for the Levites. And thou shalt set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them for an offering unto the Lord. And thou shalt separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and Levites shall be mine. Because even going back to Leviticus 4, and a little bit of Leviticus 5, I said Leviticus, of Numbers 4 and Numbers 5 that we just read yesterday, the Levites were called to the Lord's dead firstborn, and they were made, and they were to be his in order for Aaron and his sons, the priests, to use them for the work of the tabernacle, again, being like moving it and carrying it wherever they were supposed to go. Yeah, and here they were given, like officially meant to be given to Aaron and his sons. 15. And after that shall the Levites go in to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt cleanse them, and offer them for an offering. For they are wholly given unto me among the children of Israel. Instead of such as open every womb, even instead of the firstborn of all the children of Israel have I taken them unto me. For all the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them for myself. If you remember the last plague, which took place like with Passover, whoever did not have the blood on their doorposts or on like the lintels, the firstborn of their house, or just like whatever it was, whether it was their firstborn or they had an ox and it was a firstborn, everything that was like the firstborn of anything died. So he said, the Lord's even saying, in that night, even though I didn't kill your firstborns, I sanctified them unto me, where they are mine. But he's saying, well, but instead of taking your firstborn, I'm taking the tribe of Levi. 18. And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel, to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation, and to make an atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come nigh into the sanctuary. Because even going back to, was it Numbers 2, Numbers 3, when they were showing how the camp was divided, and where like Judah was on the east side, Reuben was on the north side, Ephraim, I believe, was either on the west or south, but to the point, all those tribes were around there, but the tribe of Levi were specifically all around the sanctuary, or all around the tabernacle, while the other tribes of Israel had to be pushed further back. And even they had a dividing of like where specifically they were. And even the priests specifically, if I remember correctly, was the west side, or was it the east side? It was a very specific side where the priests specifically stayed, that even the Levites couldn't go near to. Or like that wasn't their place to go. The point being, the Levites were made to stay around the sanctuary. But again, they were sanctified to carry it and move it instead of the rest of the house of Israel. So the house of Israel stayed further away from the sanctuary. Levites stayed very close by. Priests stayed even closer. Right? But to the point, they all stayed by the sanctuary. And they, because, their purpose was to move. Right? And like I said, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come nigh into the sanctuary. Because that would be the tribe of Levi's job. They would take care of all that. 20. And Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites according to all that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites. So did the children of Israel unto them. And the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes. And Aaron offered them as an offering before the Lord. And Aaron made an atonement for them to cleanse them. And after that went the Levites in to do the service in the tabernacle of the congregation before Aaron and before his sons. And the Lord had commanded Moses concerning the Levites. So did they unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This is that belongeth unto the Levites. From 25 years old and upward, they shall go in to wait upon the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Again, we've gone over the service. The service is what? They are the people who are going to be moving these things. Again, even more specifically, remember with the sons of Kohath, they could just go and touch the special things of the Ark of the Covenant and so on and so forth. They, Aaron and his sons, the priests, had to go in and wrap all these things up first, right? But even here, it's from 25 years old and upward, they shall go in and wait upon the service. So these are the people who will do the service. Remember before I even said 30 to 50, but here 25 to 50. Really just same age range. Where, and we'll even see the 50 now. I'll go ahead and just read 25. And from the age of 50 years shall they cease weighing upon the service thereof, and shall serve no more. Because remember, I even brought up the last time, I think it was Leviticus 4. Yeah, Leviticus 4, where it's brought up. They are carrying and moving giant pillars, giant sheets, arcs, giant vessels. Someone's over 50, we're not having them do all these things. So there's a retirement age for these Levites in terms of this service of picking up and helping move everything, right? 26. But shall minister with their brethren. But shall minister with their brethren in the tabernacle of the congregation to keep the charge, and shall do no service. Thus shalt thou do unto the Levites, touching their charge. Alright? But the 50, people above 50, from the age of 50 shall they cease weighing upon the service thereof, and shall serve no more, but shall minister with their brethren in the tabernacle of the congregation to keep the charge, and shall do no service. Where they're still around the 50-year-olds, and they're instructing those younger than them, right? But they shall do no service. So they are not the people, again, picking up all these things, moving all these things, and so forth. And again, they're still regular Levites, so it's not like they can do what the priests do anymore either. So they were just you can think of it like a supervisor role almost, but they were still around. But to the point that they couldn't do all the things we've read so far in Numbers, that this was the job of the Kohathites, this was the Gershonites, this was the Merarites. They couldn't pick up and lift and do those things anymore because they're retired. They're over 50. But yeah, now we see the Levites officially consecrated to do this job that we've seen sort of be commanded and prepared for them, in Leviticus 4 or 5 and some of the following chapters we've seen as well. But yeah. With that, I have nothing else to say about Numbers 8. Now we can move on to Numbers 9. Numbers 9 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season. In the 14th day of this month at even, ye shall keep it in its appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof shall ye keep it. So it's been a calendar year at this point. So now they're back in the first month. And he's saying, well, hey, we're past Leviticus 23. And we already lived through Exodus 12 and Exodus 13. So I've given you the commandment and the ordinance for how this thing should be done. So now we're approaching this time again, the first month of 14th day at even, because that's when they killed the Passover, as we saw in Exodus 12, and they even reminded us of in Leviticus 23. Well, okay, it's time for us to keep this Passover again. 4. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even in the wilderness of Sinai. Because even remember, even is at the going down of the sun. So they ate it at even of the 14th day. Which remember, the Lord's days work differently than ours. It's the evening, then the morning, as pointed out in Genesis 1. So they will eat it at what would be the end of the 14th day. To the Lord, where the morning is ending, it's like sunset, right? That's what even means, when the sun is setting. So the sunset, and then you eat it going into what would be the 15th day, which in Leviticus 23, we saw in Exodus 12, is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Which is why at times they will not mention Passover, but they will mention unleavened bread. Or they may do the opposite, where they'll mention the Feast of Passover, but they won't mention unleavened bread, because they're really one and the same. They go together. Passover is meant to take you into the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where you take the Passover, where you eat of the unleavened bread, because Passover was eaten with unleavened bread. You eat of unleavened bread, and then for the next 7 days, you would continue to only eat unleavened bread. But yeah, and in verse 5, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel. And there were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man, that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. And those men said unto him, we are defiled by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel? So now they've run into this problem. These people are unclean by reason of dead body. So like they've touched the dead body however way. We even saw with like Nazarite vow. Straight, if a dude just dies next to you and falls on you, or just falls next to you, whatever, you are unclean by reason of dead body if a dude just dies near you, right? So whatever the circumstance is, they're unclean by reason of dead body. And that lasts, like we saw in Nazarite vow, like 7 days, you're made clean on the 8th day, so on and so forth, right? But now, because they're unclean by reason of dead body, they cannot eat of the Passover. Like, they cannot offer up. So, and they can't, eat of the Passover, right? Because even like Paul talks about, you shouldn't eat of the Passover unworthily. But still, to the point, verse 8. So, now they're questioning, hey, Moses, Aaron, what should we do? Because, we'll be breaking his law by trying to take of it, but, eat of the Passover when we're unclean by reason of dead body. But we can't just not eat of the Passover either. So it's what do we do? Verse 8. And Moses said unto them, stand still, and I'll hear what the Lord will command concerning you. So they can chill out. I'm going to go see what the Lord says we should do about this situation. Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord. So he said, okay, but if you're unclean by reason of dead body, and this is specifically reason of undead body, so it's not even, the Lord's going to give precedence for how this works going forward, but it's not just any form of uncleanliness. Because remember, runny nose, you have a boil, you've just had sex, all of those things, or if you're a woman, you're on your period, or you've just given birth, or any of those things, and so many more make you unclean, right? But that's not what he's talking about for, we'll see what's this exception, right? It's specifically unclean by reason of dead body. So what I'm trying to point out is that if you're unclean because all of those reasons I just named, giving birth, running nose, whatever, you would still eat of you wouldn't follow this ordinance. You would eat of the Passover normally, as you typically would, right? It's for reason of or being unclean by a dead body specifically. That is what would stop you from eating Passover on the first month of the 14th day. The normal way. And that he also said, or being of journey afar off. Where, because they're supposed to do it at the tabernacle, and they couldn't do it there. And they, for whatever reason, they weren't near the tabernacle, they were far off, so where they couldn't take the Passover the normal way. That would be a reasoning too. But even for us now, we don't have a tabernacle, so even that's a bit looser. But very specifically, the reason of dead body, right? So, what would you do? Verse 11. The 14th day of the second month at even, they shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and bare herbs. So basically, you would just move it back a month. Instead of being the first month, the 14th day at even, is when you would keep the Passover. It would be the second month on the 14th day at even, is when you would take your Passover. So you still had to do it, but it got pushed back because you're unclean by reason of dead body. So unclean for any other reason, you would do it that first month. Unclean by dead body, you touched the dead body, you went to your grandfather's funeral, whatever it may be, it would be, you would take it the second month on the 14th day at even, right? 12, they shall leave none of it until the morning, nor break any bone of it, according to all the ordinance of the Passover, that they shall keep it. So you keep it the same way. And the same way, it would really... I'll just keep going. 13, but the man that is clean is not in a journey, and forbeareth to keep the Passover, even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he brought not the offering of the Lord in his appointed season. That man shall bear his sin. So you're supposed to take of this Passover, which is again why the people were concerned, because you're supposed to take and eat of this Passover. You can't just not do it. Right? So he's saying like, hey, unless you fit in those two groups and you just choose not to, then it will be on unto you for sin, because you haven't taken part of the Lord's Passover. Right? But 14, we'll even see more. And if a stranger shall sojourn among you and will keep the Passover unto you, according to the ordinance of the Passover, and according to the manner thereof, so shall he do. Ye shall have one ordinance both for the stranger and for him that is born in the land. So it's saying that, hey, even if the stranger wants to eat of it, it's not a thing of, and that's a thing with all the Lord's law and commandments. It's not just for, Israel. It's for everyone. So it's even, the stranger wants to partake of it and do it. They can. Now, something else that we see is that, later on, and, even before, to eat of the Passover, we saw this, Exodus 12 and 13, as well as further on in Exodus and in Leviticus. If the stranger wanted to eat of the Passover, they had to be circumcised, right? And that's not just specifically for a stranger, that was any person in general. The only thing is that Israel were already commanded to be circumcised on the 8th day. So, supposedly, they're all already circumcised. So I don't need to say it to you, but to you who isn't circumcised, I know who isn't, that's a requirement for you. You do have to, the same way they're circumcised, you have to be circumcised before you just start eating and partaking of this Passover. So, that is a caveat, but it's still to the same thing. And it's not we're not stopping anyone from partaking of this. It's one law for everyone, right? That's what he says at the end of 14. You shall have one ordinance, both for the stranger and for him that is born in the land. Everyone has the same ordinance, which means law. 15. And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely, the tent of the testimony. And at even there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire, until the morning. So it was alway. The cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, then after the children of Israel journeyed, and in the place where the cloud abode, there the children of Israel pitched their tents. At the commandment of the Lord, the children of Israel journeyed, and at the commandment of the Lord they pitched. As long as the cloud abode upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. So, the children of Israel are following the cloud, which is like the Lord's angel. They are following the cloud wherever it goes. So, if it's saying at the tabernacle, this is where they stayed for the night, or however long the cloud stayed at the tabernacle. When the cloud started moving away, they'll pack up everything and they will follow after it. Because remember, where they are is not their permanent residence, nor is it meant to be. They're going through this land in order to make their way to the promised land. It's just along the way the Lord's stopping so I can teach you my commandments and how we're going to do things, what's the order going to be before I bring you into the land. Because I bring you into the land, we're going to conquer it, and then you're going to reign there. So I'm saying this is how things are going to work. This is who's going to have what. These are all the different things I need to just have in order before I actually give you the land. These are my laws, my ordinances, so on and so forth, right? But this is not their permanent residence. They're going somewhere. They're going to the promised land. 19. And when the cloud tarried long upon the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord and journeyed not. And so it was, when the cloud was a few days upon the tabernacle, according to the commandment of the Lord, they abode in their tents. And according to the commandment of the Lord, they journeyed. And so it was, when the cloud abode from even unto the morning, that the cloud was taken up in the morning. Then they journeyed. Whether it was by day or by night that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. So whenever the cloud was gone, when it was moving away, that they would follow it, whether it was night or day. Or whether it were 2 days, or a month, or a year, that the cloud tarried upon the tabernacle. remained thereon. The children of Israel abode in their tents and journeyed not. But when it was taken up, they journeyed. At the commandment of the Lord, they rested in the tents, and at the commandment of the Lord, they journeyed. They kept charge of the Lord at the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. Yeah. They kept the charge of the Lord at the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. Alrighty. Numbers 9. Quite a good chapter. Very much liked it. Excuse me. Yeah. Just talking all about the Passover and eventually just how the children of Israel moved. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about chapter 9. So with that, I think we're going to go to chapter 10. And I think we'll call it with chapter 10. Yeah. All right, cool. Then without further ado, I will go ahead and read it. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Make thee 2 trumpets of silver, of a whole piece shalt thou make them, that thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly and for the journeying of the camps. And when thee shalt blow them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to thee at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And if they blow but with 1 trumpet, then the princes which are heads of the thousands of Israel shall gather themselves up to thee. When ye blow an alarm, the camps that lie in the east parts shall go forward. Those were like the tribe of Judah and the people under him. The people, in other words, when they were traveling, it talked about even Numbers 2, Numbers 3, that they would go first. Right? But these trumpets, now they're making a system where using trumpets to call people before the tabernacle, as well as to let people know of war. Which, even remember, trumpets have a lot of meaning in the Bible, especially with war. And especially the coming of the Lord. You look at like Revelation being a good example, like the 7 trumpets being blown there. Or even think of like Matthew 24 when the first the Lord's coming, it mentions trumpets. Or 1 Corinthians 15 where that the last trumpet, the Antichrist shall rise first. Where in so many places, trumpets have a lot of important meaning, especially regarding war and the coming of the Lord. Even remember, if we go back to like Exodus, like 15, 16, when the Lord descended upon Mount Sinai, even mentioned trumpets there being blown. When the Lord descended, they had the Lord's coming. And I bring all this up just because we've just recently read about Leviticus 23, about the Feast of Trumpets, which, if you remember, was connected to the Lord's return. And we saw that in Leviticus 25, like in the year of Jubilee. But also to the point. So they've set up this trumpet alarm system in order to prepare for war, as well as just call Israel up to the tabernacle where the Lord is. Right? 6. When you blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey. They shall blow an alarm for their journeys. When the congregation is to be gathered together, ye shall blow, but ye shall not sound an alarm. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall blow with the trumpets, and they shall be to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generations. And if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets. Then ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God, and ye shall be saved from your enemies. Also in the day of your gladness and in your solemn days and the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, and that they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass on the 20th day of the 2nd month in the 2nd year that a cloud was taken up from off the tabernacle of the testimony. So now they're moving. And the children of Israel took their journeys out of the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. And they first took their journey according to the command of the Lord by the hand of Moses. Just a self-reminder, the wilderness is not one set location. It's just like wilderness, meaning just like you can think of it the same way as the jungle, right? The jungle is not a specific place. You could be talking about the Amazon somewhere. You could be talking about somewhere in like Saudi Arabia. You could be talking about somewhere in North America, right? So when they're saying the wilderness, they're going around the wilderness, it just means they're not in like the civilized areas. They're not in towns moving around. They're going on the outskirts of everywhere. So they're on the outskirts, the wilderness of Sinai, the outskirts, the wilderness of Paran. So they are moving and walking around. But the point is, it's not all one set area. Because there's even a point where people say the wilderness is like the area, which you can't quite see, but like directly between Egypt and Israel, which is true. Like talking about the wilderness that they walked through, a lot of it is there, but a lot of it also consists of what is like around the border of what is now Israel and Jordan, like on Jordan's side. Because they walked all around there too. But that was also the wilderness because they weren't like in civilized areas. They were just like in the jungle. They were just around in the middle of nowhere, I guess you could say. Where it is somewhere's land. If you're in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, you're in Arizona, but you're in the middle of nowhere. There's no one here. So it's think of it like in the same way. But verse 14. In the first place, when the standard of the camp of the children of Israel, according to their armies, and over his host was Nahshon the son of Amminadab. He's the leader of Judah, because remember, Judah went first. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Issachar was Nethaneel the son of Zuar. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliab the son of Helon. And the tabernacle was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari set forward bearing the tabernacle. And the standard of the camp of Reuben set forward according to their armies, and over his host was Elizur the son of Shedeur. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Simeon was Shelumiel the son of Zurishaddai. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Gad was Elisaph the son of Duel. And the Kohathites set forward, bearing the sanctuary, and the other did set up the tabernacle against they came. And the standard of the camp of the children of Ephraim set forward according to their armies. And over his host was Elishama the son of Ammiud. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan the son of Gideoni. And the standard of the camp of the children of Dan set forward, which was the reward of all the camps throughout their host. And over his host was Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel the son of Okran. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Ahira the son of Enan. Thus were the journeys of the children of Israel according to their armies when they set forward. And Moses said unto Hobab the son of Raguel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, We are journeying unto the place which the Lord said, I will give it to you. Come thou with us, and we will do thee good. For the Lord hath spoken good concerning Israel. And he said unto him, I will not go, but I'll depart to mine own land and to my kindred. So like here, we have even Moses. So we've had like the set, we saw the blueprint, like I said earlier, in like Numbers 2 and 3, of like how they had to go like Judah and his people first, like Reuben, the tribes of Levi, like the tribe of Levi carrying stuff and people in the back. And that's just like what they have laid out here. But now even Moses is talking to his brother-in-law, Hobab, the son of Raguel, the Midianite, which is, sometimes he's called Jethro, sometimes he's called Ruel, and like Raguel seems just to be another like a twist on the name Ruel, where it's like, it's the same dude, Ruel, Raguel, where it's like, okay, it's just the pronunciation, but same guy. And he's like, no, well, I'm going to go back to the children of Midian. 31. And he said, Leave us not, I pray thee, for as much as thou knowest how we are to encamp in the wilderness, and thou mayest be to us instead of eyes. And it shall be, if thou go with us, yea, it shall be that what goodness the Lord shall do unto us, the same will he do unto thee. Where he's like, hey, we're walking in the middle of nowhere, you will be good with us, like helping us, like show us like where we are and where we're going, because we're just walking out here, right? And also, it will be good for you because whatever the Lord, like you've seen how the Lord blessed us, brought us out of Egypt. You've seen how it's rained food so many times and how the Lord has blessed us continually over and over and over again. It will be so whatever good happens to us will happen to you as well. 33. And they departed from the mount of the Lord 3 days' journey, and in the ark of the covenant, and the Lord went before them in the 3 days' journey to search out a resting place for them. And the cloud of the Lord was upon them day by day, and they went out of the camp. And it came to pass when the ark set forward that Moses said, Rise up, Lord, and let thy enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee before thee. And when it rested, he said, Return to the Lord unto the many thousands of Israel. Yeah. At this point, like now that so many things have been now that like so many of the ordinances and set order how we're going to be moving, how the tabernacle is going to be, how like I'm really going to have you be clean and righteous people, all that ordinance has been set forward and we've put it into practice and place. Now they're shmooing. Now they're moving towards actually going to the promised land. Because at this point, like I said, it's more like a training camp, I guess you could say, where the Lord is trying to teach them and get to know His ways and setting up the ordinances of how everything's going to work. So now that a lot of that's happened, now we're getting ready to really, I'm going to take you guys into the land. Yeah, but with that is Numbers 10. Yeah. I don't really have much more else to say about Numbers 10. Yeah. I guess that concludes our reading for today. So yeah, I got some good reading. Got to see a lot of the stuff that we've been reading about starting to get put into practice. We got to see the law of the Nazarite, even talking a bit about vows. We got to see the Levites, really how they start to move and do their job, which again will be really important as you move further, especially since I think we'll definitely be able to read it next. Yeah, I definitely think we should be able to read it tomorrow. Tomorrow or the next day. Definitely this week. We're going to get through it. Either Wednesday, tomorrow, or Thursday. But the story of Korah, where he is a Levite. That does what I've basically been saying, don't do this entire time. He gets it in his head that because the Lord has given him these things, he's equal or the same as Moses, Aaron, and Aaron's sons, like the priests. Where no, because he was from Kohath, which took care of the holy things. So he got inflated in his mind that he was equal, that he was the same, that they were no different. And the Lord killed him and all the people with him and really showed them that, hey, no, I called you guys to do something special, but not what the priests do. You guys just have two different jobs. And one is above the other, just to be frank. They are my priests, and you're to help them in their job. You aren't them, though. But all to the point, which even goes back to pride, which we were talking about earlier. But that's why, it's very cool that we've gotten to see that so much, so up to this point. Yeah. With that, I think we're calling it with that for today. And with that, I want to read 1 Corinthians 3 as we close it out. As we read more and more things about the tabernacle, I think it's always important. And later it's called the temple, like in Solomon's day and past, it's called the temple of the Lord. But it's always very important to remember this here. 1 Corinthians 3, 16, and verse 16. I'll just read down. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? We've seen so much about how the Spirit or the cloud was within the tabernacle, or is resting, or the Spirit of God or the cloud was resting upon the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant, right? Where we, our bodies, are the temple of God as well. And it's in that same way, the Spirit of God, which is this Word of God, this Bible, should be dwelling within us too. Right? 17. If any man defile the temple of God, and him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple are ye? So, the Lord wants us to keep this temple holy. And it's not even in the sense of like, oh, well, you need to eat healthy and stuff like that, which is all good, right? It's all good, but even the Lord talks about, hey, it's not what goes into a man's mouth. We're literally talking about eating with unwashed hands, which I would say is quite gross, but the Lord's making a point. It's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, it's what comes out. Where the lusts of our mind, the sins of our flesh, as even we saw in the Proverbs say, that is what defiles us, that what makes us dirty before the Lord. That what makes this spiritual temple of God dirty. Right? So, all of us need to be working to make our temples holy before the Lord and filled with the Spirit of God. And that means reading and studying the Word of God, reading His Bible, studying it, obeying what's in this Bible, keeping His law, keeping His commandments. All the things we've read, Leviticus 11, Leviticus 23, Exodus 20, Exodus 25. Anything you see the Lord commands us to do, we all need to be doing our best to do it. But yeah, and that was my ending place. But yeah, with that, that's it for today. Thank you, as always, for joining. Pray that today was good for everyone involved. And yeah, with that being said, wish you a wonderful night. Peace.